cloud. I am going to start live streaming on Facebook. I need to switch to James Angela to continue. No. Knew this was going to happen, Jen. Knew it was going to happen.
It should ask you to continue as you and then select a page. Just make sure you choose 1MillionCups.
Zoom preparing live stream meeting. Technology, people. Technology. What we're going to do. And we are live. So welcome everyone to this week's 1MillionCups presentation. Day is Wednesday, May 14th. I am James Lawson. I am one of the organizers here at 1MillionCups in Fairfax. We have a number of organizers with us today. But if this is your first time here, welcome, welcome. So if you don't know much about 1MillionCups, we are part of the Kaufman Foundation, and we work with communities in entrepreneurship and education to increase opportunities that allow all people to learn, to take risks, and to own their success. Next slide. So we are a national and a local mission. We work towards this mission through creating a consistent educational experience for every 1MC presenter nationwide, while also highlighting the uniqueness and value proposition in each local startup community. Now, we have, like most organizations, our key pillars. We have 4 of them. We talk about doing presentations, not pitches. This is not a place to come and pitch your business hoping to get funding. It's not what we do here. We really look for authentic connections. We look at ourselves more as a mastermind group versus a networking group. We are run for the community, by the community, and we are radically and intentionally inclusive. Next slide. So, as we always do on our Wednesday, welcome our visitors. If this is our first time here, then please go ahead and raise your hand. And when called on, please share your name, your company name, and how you heard about us. So, Dominique Braggs.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dominique Braggs. I am the owner of Braggs Law Offices, PLLC, and I heard about you all from the fabulous Jen Dalton, and I'm here as a guest of Deborah Lansdowne to hear her presentation.
Welcome, Dominique. Do we have anyone else who is new to the group? I'm not seeing hands. Nope. Okay. If there are, we'll circle back and we'll call on you later on. Next slide, please. So as we always say during this presentation, this is a QR code. If you would like to scan it, what we do is like to keep a record of your name, your birthday, your blood type, and so we can come back. No, this is to help us so we can see exactly how many people are attending each week. And it obviously helps Jen Dalton when she goes and asks for extra swag. They can see just how successful we are. Now, if you miss it this time, don't worry. We'll get it later on in the presentation. Next slide, please. So as I said, I am one of the organizers here. We have a number of them. As you can see, this is not something that gets done by one person, although Jen probably does 80% of the work. But the rest of us try and pick up some of the slack. And if you want to be involved in 1MillionCups in Fairfax, there'll be an opportunity, I think, on the next slide or the one after, where you can actually let us know. And we will have a conversation about you becoming an organizer. So there you go. Next slide, please. So we do have sponsors. As always, I'm going to ask Jen to talk about George Mason Enterprise Center. Jen?
Thank you so much, James. Mason Enterprise Center is located just off of 66. It is a fantastic incubator for businesses who are looking to scale. They do specialize in technology companies as well as working in government contracting. However, they are also looking for business owners who provide services to companies too, whether it's CPAs, etc. even a pinch of time, which you'll hear about later. So please make sure you check out Mason Enterprise Center. They have a great event coming up this week on how important it is as a founder to network. So I'll put that information in chat. You can also talk with Eddie Hill. We will see him in person in our June meeting. So check them out. I'll put a link to their website.
Thank you, Jen. This month's coffee sponsor is me, Impact Business Solutions. So we are a coaching and consulting company who specialize in working with early stage other coaches and consultants to help them build what we call their six-figure marketing foundation. You can find us at impactbizllc.com on the web, or you can troll me and find me on LinkedIn, which I would love to connect with anyone who wants to do so. Next slide, please. So here's how the meetings work. We are going to have a presentation by the lovely Deborah Lansdowne. When the presentation is concluded, there will be a Q&A session. We ask that everyone keep themselves muted during the Q&A. If you have a question, then raise your hand. We also ask that you keep your question tight, not ramble on, as some people are prone to do, including me. Yeah, just keep it very concise. And we're going to ask Deborah to keep her answer pretty concise so we can get through all the Q&A. And if we have time at the end, we'll stick around and we can chit chat a little bit more. Next slide, please. So, Jen, would you like to introduce Deborah, since I think you brought her along?
Sure, happy to do so. Deborah is a close friend and colleague. I don't know how long I've known you, Deborah, but it's been a while. I'm not going to confess to anything more than a decade. What I would say is she's a trusted advisor. We spent a lot of time talking about business. She understands business very well. She has a fascinating background in the corporate space, working with big companies like Verizon, but also working with small and growing businesses. And you'll hear about that more. She specializes in helping people, especially business owners and executives, find more time, which is one of the hardest resources for us as entrepreneurs and business owners to find. So if that's something you need help with, definitely talk with Deborah. She'll speak more as to her challenge question for today. But with that, welcome.
Thank you very much, Jen. So here's my challenge question. How do we update and elevate our messaging to compete with offshore companies who provide some similar services at a reduced cost? Next slide, please. Because what we do is we're virtual assistants. So we provide dedicated resources to our clients. We are virtual, so that means that we can support them no matter where they are. And some of the services that we provide to our clients is managing their inbox, their calendar, handling customer support, social media, and administrative tasks. So we work in the background and we take care of what you don't want to do so you can focus on your business. Next slide, please. So what is our company's timeline? So we actually started this business this year. We started out in the company as being dedicated personal assistants, and that was in 2018. And then because we had so many requirements from our clients to move towards doing more of the business side, we launched the business 100% as a virtual business service in 2025. We were fortunate enough that we had a good, what's the word I'm looking for? We had existing clients we were able to just transition over. So even in the new business, we were immediately profitable and we were immediately able to generate revenue. So we operate anywhere. We're national, international clients, and we also operate virtually, locally. Next slide, please. So what business problem do we solve? Well, we solve several. First of all, and most importantly, of course, as a part of our name, is time management. because we're able to come in and take away some of the mundane routine tasks from the clients so they can really focus on scalability of their business. We're cost efficient. You can scale us up, you can scale us down. And so that makes it as a very easy or more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a more attractive way for business owners to engage with us and have the ability to be able to work with us. And then when you have productivity bottlenecks, and when you've got a bottleneck in your business, we're able to offload and take on some of those tasks. So again, you can keep things running smoothly and efficiently. Next slide, please. So how do we generate revenue? We have several different models. What I do is I sit down with my clients from the initially and try to understand what it is they want to accomplish and where are their pain points. And then depending on that, we either will put them on a billable package, a retainer package. In some cases, it's project-based. They have some very specific things they want to accomplish in a short amount of time. We do have different service tiers. Depending on what type of service they want. In some cases, they may want something that's more specialized, whether it's supporting a doctor or a lawyer, as opposed to someone who just needs general administrative support. And then we do work very hard to make sure that we can support any niche services or niche requirements that the client has. Next slide, please. So what's our value proposition? You can see right here the different services that we offer and the types of clients that we work with. We believe that our unique value proposition is that number one, we increase your profit by going through cost savings. We're flexible and we're scalable. We've got a diverse skill set on the team. Depending on if I don't have that skill set on my team, I will go ahead and source to find that specific virtual assistant to support the clients. We're dedicated. We can customize the service. We do work in different niche areas for our clients. And most importantly, we increase the productivity and time that our clients can focus on their business while we focus on the back end support. Next slide, please. So our target audience are solo entrepreneurs, those who are freelancers, small business owners, startups. We work with coaches and consultants. And then in the niche area, legal, medical, and financial professionals. We could benefit in partnering with CPAs, which we do, and financial planners and bookkeepers. We become sort of the one-stop shop for a lot of our clients. So they will come to us and they will say, do you know someone who can be a good financial planner? Do you know someone who's a lawyer? Do you know someone who's a bookkeeper? So having those types of partners and what we call our toolkit is advantageous for us. And the marketing channels that we're using are LinkedIn, social media, and we're just starting to engage with speaking engagements. And that is definitely an area that I want to increase because I feel that that's going to help us to increase our visibility. Next slide, please. So who are our competitors? Well, I selected three. The first one is a local competitor. Her company is called She's a Given. They provide event planning, and the owner has a very strong speaking profile, something that we would like to have too, because again, we feel it's important to be out in the community and have the opportunity for speaking engagements. The second one is really not a competitor because they're huge. They outsource to the Philippines, so they are a competitor from that perspective, but they're large scale, which is not where we're looking to be. They are an award winner though, and they are ranked 326 on the Inc. 5000. So they've got an established profile. We'd love to be able to have that type of credibility, but not the scope and size that where they're at. And also when you outsource to offshore, you're not going to get a dedicated resource. In many cases, you're going to get the resource that's available at that given time, but that could change each and every time you go forward to engage with them, as opposed to we are dedicated. And then Upwork is, they're interesting. They're just a huge website with photographs of each and every VA that they have. Their range from a price perspective is huge. It can be anywhere from $10 an hour to $75 an hour. They have a blend of offshore and onshore. And again, you're not going to get a dedicated or a consistent VA, depending on what type of service that you're looking for. Next slide, please. So we could leverage our competitors by being able to understand where their current gap in their services are, and we do need to spend some more time doing that. I had an interesting conversation with a company who provides AI services, and he has approached us of being able to blend AI with a human hybrid solution. I'm not sure how that's going to work yet, but I do think that's very intriguing and interesting, especially since we are hearing so much about AI today. And then again, we want to focus more on projects and complex tasks from that perspective. Next slide, please. So again, my challenge question and where I'm asking for your input is, given what you've just seen and what I've explained, how do we update and elevate our messages so that we can compete with the offshore companies? Because many cases what happens is all the person sees is, oh, wow, I can get someone for $10 an hour. I can get someone for $15 an hour. But our services, as you've seen, customized. So we really want to be able to have a strong message that allows us to be able to compete. And that's us.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
Now
you,
the
Deborah.
fun part.
Yes, fun presentation. Thanks so much for that. So at this point, we're going to move into Q&A session. Who is moderating the Q&A? Is that you, Jen?
Yeah, yes.
All right.
So just a reminder for folks who might be new, this is a great time for the next 20, 30 minutes or so. Ask clarifying questions if that will help you give better insights. Make recommendations. If you've used VA services, maybe that gives you insight into messaging that's been helpful. If you're a business owner and you've never used it, you can ask questions too, or make suggestions on what messaging would get your attention. So again, as James said earlier, keep your questions concise. We'll keep our answers concise. John Norris, kick us off.
Good morning.
Morning.
I went from unknown to known. Look at that. Hey, Deborah, I just, in hearing you speak, and again, it might be just the way you speak, but you're talking about price. You really should be focusing on value. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. So for $10, you even indicated, well, you know, from $10 to $75, there's a big range in services. That's value. And it's not that you're going to say, well, my $25 is a better value than their $25, but you want to build up your value of whatever your fee is, what you get. You should be telling me, look, you can get more time on the golf course, more time with your family, whatever it is that's important. Forget the price, because if it solves my problem, I'm interested.
I like that. Thank you. That's great. I like that.
Thank you, John. James.
Was that brief enough?
That was
Well done,
perfect.
John. Well done.
Perfect.
Yeah, so listen, Deborah, to build on what John has said, I actually think a lot of what you need is actually is in your presentation, because you hit on it on several points about having consistency in terms of the people that you're working with. I don't know that I would say I want to compete with offshore companies. What I want to do is differentiate myself from offshore companies. And the differentiation is going to come from the fact that you are more boutique, you're more consistent, you've got people who are going to be there, you're not going to get shuffled around. So we want to look at all the things that are negative by using an offshore and then turn that around as a positive for you. So I would kind of dive a little bit more and lean into that more than, and maybe it's just the way it's written about competing. I don't want to compete. I just want to differentiate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would look at. You've got a lot of that in your presentation, I think.
That I want to differentiate and not compete. Yeah,
because you brought up a lot of things about what happens with offshore as a competitor, right? And that's fine. That's their model, but it's not yours, right? You're more hands-on. You're more personal. You're more, all of the things that you want to have your company do. there's people out there who want that. They don't want the offshore people. We want to go find the other guys. And so I would lean into that a little bit more, maybe.
Okay, thank you. That's great.
And just as a reminder, let's do one idea at a time and we'll circle back. If you have more ideas, just so we keep things concise. Melinda.
One of the things that I love about what you're talking about is made in America, and also that you're here. And what's important to me about that is the word connection. People want to connect, and you don't feel as connected when you're talking to somebody offshore. And there may be a way that you can leverage that. I like what James said, because it's a continuation of look at, and I would probably very quickly go through AI and say, what are ask it to SWOT, so you get the whole part of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for offshore company versus a company that's here in the United States. And you probably can get a gazillion ideas.
And I think building on that before we go to Amy and then Rutenberg, one of the things that I think maybe James, let me know if this resonates. James, we lost James. I did not kick him out, I promise. I will let him back in when he, oh, there he is. Okay. I think you have such a great network. You know a lot of vendors and business partners, which if you're doing a lot of administrative work on behalf of your clients to save them time, those relationships matter. And that's not something someone abroad or even outside of the DMV will have. So is that an example, James, of like a differentiator, very specific?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah.
All right, Amy Hughes.
Thanks, Jen. And thanks, Deborah. Appreciate the presentation. One thing I'm struggling with is when I go to your online presence, a lot of the descriptors are related to lifestyle management and concierge services versus what you've just presented to us. I'm in the market for a virtual assistant. I wouldn't have never thought to look under lifestyle management. And I don't know if that makes me unique, but one suggestion would be start your message with the base, define who you are, and make sure that that is really clean and clear with your online presence.
No, thank you. And that's excellent. And let me just respond to that. You're correct. Our website does not reflect who we are today. And I am currently engaged in working with a brand strategist to help us come up with our messaging and what that needs to look like. So there will be a brand new website that will be up hopefully within the next 30 days. But thank you. Excellent observation, and you're absolutely correct. It does not reflect who we are today. It reflects who we were.
Great question. Gotta watch this group. We're gonna go check out your LinkedIn profile, your website. We're gonna be busy.
I appreciate that.
All right, John Rittenberg, and then Cheryl.
So Deborah, first, thank you very much. That was a great presentation. I learned a lot, and there's a lot of talent in this room, not only who have already given you suggestions. You asked about, yeah, and have made amazing comments, but you asked about elevating your message. So you can either be louder or you can specialize and therefore have a smaller group on which to whom to message. And I would suggest that. And when you mentioned your target audience, you had solopreneurs and small businesses. Well, that's not really very descriptive as compared to the last two bullets, which said medical and professional, etc. So just for a moment, if you chose professional services as an industry specialization, because some of those might be small businesses or solopreneurs, but that solopreneurs doesn't describe anything, and you need to specialize in order to have rates that are specialty rates. And using the prior comments of not discussing the offshore people and messaging Your message needs to be you're increasing a business's profits, and as others have said, freeing up the owner's time for his or her highest priorities. That's a revenue producer. So when you make your messaging revenue and profit within a specialty industry, you don't have to be as loud, and your message is already elevated because the denominator is smaller, if you will.
Thank
And
you.
thank you very much.
Ooh, thank you. Very good. Thank you.
John Morris, back again.
All right, I'm going to have one question. So Deborah, I don't know enough about your industry. I know some of my associates use virtual assistants. I'm familiar to a certain degree. But what I would pose your question is just, are you following other people into a market that makes it obviously hard to get attention? And that is there a way to challenge yourself to find a new market? And what I mean by that is, what if you went to a company that might need 10 virtual assistants? Is someone in that space that's selling 10 virtual assistants at a time? I don't know enough about your business again, but chasing one-off deals or special projects, while that can be profitable, it looks to be a crowded space. And I'm saying, how do you maybe find an opportunity that others aren't seeing in your industry? Maybe another way for you to find success quicker.
No, but it's an excellent question or suggestion. Let me respond to a couple different ways. The first is that being able to work with a company to provide 10 virtual assistants is not what we'd be looking for. We really do want to specialize and be a boutique service offering. And so given the market space and the opportunity, there's plenty of space, there's plenty of opportunity for us out there where we want to be. And when I say we, my daughter is my business partner, so we started the business together. As far as that goes, that also allows us, I love, where is his name? John Rutenberg. I think that's who it was. There he is. I love his suggestion of being able to be specialized in a particular maybe niche market so that then we can charge higher rates, because we would prefer to have quality clients that are long-term, that we can keep and maintain over a long period of time, and they stay with us.
That helped you define your market, and I appreciate that. That defines your market. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Cheryl.
There are a lot of similarities between your business and mine, Deborah. I'm an independent executive recruiter after years of working for a boutique firm and then an international firm. And the first thing that I wrote down about your question was that you needed to clarify your message before you amplify it. So most of the things I was going to say, you've already heard. The importance of distinguishing what your service is. I also thought you answered a lot of your own question, or you kind of reposted in your first slide when you said that your competitors offshore offer similar services. Well, we need to know what's different. What I didn't hear was how you differentiate yourself. I didn't really hear the why you message. And as I think John said initially, if the argument is over price, you have an established value. And so you really need to do that. As far as specializing goes, I think it's important that we specialize somewhat. We need to specialize enough that when we're speaking to our audience, they feel like we get them. That doesn't mean that you lock yourself into one specialty, but I think a mixed message, even louder, is still a mixed message. And there has to be something that somebody feels that they're getting from you that they're not getting elsewhere. And I don't feel that that message came through as clearly. I'd love to see you sit down with your web developer and give your pitch. I mean, I think we need to hear you, and we're hearing a lot of fancy words. I don't feel like I got to the heart of you yet. And I think that's the connection that's going to make these small businesses. Every time we employ a vendor, we are buying trust. So you need to sell the trust. That's all.
Thank
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you. You know what? I knew you were going to nail it. It's because I've watched it before. Thank you. That was great. Self-trust. Okay.
Dominique. Thanks, Cheryl.
Okay, fantastic. So one of the things as we're talking about the specialization and the value proposition, one of the things that jumped out at me, because I am an attorney, is the confidentiality and that security that you can add, for your clients. That is a value. That's as a law firm owner, I would go to you to ensure that my client's information is kept confidential. I'm working with the same person all the time, so I don't have 20 different people from your company working on my matters. I think that could be something that you could lean into when you're talking about the professionals that you want to work with, whether it's attorneys, financial advisors, CPAs, whatever that is.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, Dominique. John Rude.
2 quick points. One, look inside your current client base and all of the personal assistance services and the profiles of those industries before choosing a specialization. Okay, because you may have 7 clients already in a particular area, and gaining the proof and case studies and testimonials become easier. Second, one of the differentiators is your story of you and your daughter. In a flash, man, you're the people who are getting hired by the law firm or the medical practice or whatever, the government contractors who are going through topsy-turvy times right now and maybe shrinking yet needing still some kind of, again, you have to decide where to specialize, but these are just examples of specialties. But part of your differentiator are the 2 of you and what you're building together and your expertise. And when your person breaks down, I can reach Deborah Lansdowne.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big differentiator, because try reaching Acme in the Philippines or the website. And again, I agree with the other comments that you don't even want to go there to discuss those bad people.
Thank you.
You bet.
Great. Thank you.
Well, and Deborah, I think there are a lot of family-owned businesses that are 150 employees below who have the funding to pay for your services too. Not that you need to be uber wealthy, but I think they would also value that family message. So great point, John. Maria.
So as I've been looking into, like Amy mentioned, your website and your social media, I don't get to see you. I don't see, I've met you in other venues here and other places as well, and I didn't understand what you were doing. And even in your LinkedIn page for the business, it's empty. So the opportunity for you to start speaking there is tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
It's right now unutilized. And in your personal, I see that you're reposting, but you're not posting your ideas. You're not posting even right now, while you're still working on with your new rebranding efforts. I think even whatever you say, it's still going to make a difference. You know your clients' pain points. Like John mentioned, just go back quickly, start getting a couple of ideas and start working on your story, and start with that. See what you get, what you, you know, the response that you start getting, and then that would also give you feedback for your messaging.
Thank you. That's very helpful. And you're right. You're spot on about the LinkedIn. I know I need to do that.
Melinda.
Couple of things, but altogether, going back to why you started the business and why you changed the business, that story may be a big part of why you're different. And what I thought you might do, which is real strategic, is do some focus groups. You can even do them as individual interviews with your current clients. Why do they use you? Don't ask too many questions why they don't go elsewhere, but get testimonials, get the reasons why they keep coming back. You're going to learn a lot of things of what you're hearing today, confidentiality and other types of things. But if you can do a deep dive with your, let's say, 10 best clients and either do it together and you do it on Zoom and then reward them with something, give them something for their business that would make sense as a little thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I like that. Thank you.
Deborah, I put a couple of statistics in chat. I do think it's important as part of the messaging to show the dollars and the value. So even asking like, what would you do as a business owner with 10 extra hours in your week? Right? How would you manage your business versus get stuck in your business? So just some data points. We'll save the chat. Attendees, please make sure you're saving the chat as well. We have about 10 more minutes for Q&A and ideas. If you haven't had a chance, we'd love to hear from you. Just because we have some of the same faces speaking doesn't mean everyone can't add value. So, Maria.
So another thing I'm noticing on your social media, you say principal APOT. I think that right now by introducing an acronym for your company is not doing anything because it's not working on your branding or establishing your brand. And I think that also should be tweaked to soonest. I know that it's going to come as you're working with your brand, but even just saying the story and going, what a pinch of time, why everything, it will work better.
Thank you. Yep, you're right.
John Foster.
Thank you, Jen. Deborah, thank you. I greatly appreciate the presentation. I am curious though, and this goes back to some of the comments that were made. Maria covered LinkedIn, so thank you, Maria. But with regards to your website, you've got our services and you've got these 8 different areas. And I'm curious are you doing things in all 8 of those areas? And are that, and which ones are most, I'll say most profitable for lack of a better word, but I don't know if there's too much there or not. I'm just curious, your feedback on that.
Yeah, that website was specifically geared towards our personal assistant services. So in answer to your question, yes, we are. We are doing those services, but it's not a business that we're actively marketing or pushing at this point. It really is the transition over to the virtual services, but additionally, because we have an established reputation and providing personal assistant services, I'm not going to turn that business away, but I'm not going to market it. So that's one of the why we're changing the website. It's absolutely
Gotcha.
changed.
Okay.
John Rudenberg.
Thank you. So 2 points. One is there are bright people in the room who can tell you whether you ought to have 2 websites for the 2 products so that you meet the markets because they're segmented. Maybe there's crossover. So I think that's important, but I don't know how much you want to grow over the next 12 months. But let's say you want to get 10 clients with an average annual ticket of 10 grand. And I just picked those numbers because I can do the multiplication and Norse can tell me whether I get it right. 10 times 10,000 is 100 grand. Let's just say that's the number. Okay, so you need 10 businesses. Okay, well, how many businesses do you have to come across to yield 10? And again, you're not getting them all in month 1 of the year, so it's over time it becomes the 100 grand. But how many do you actually have to meet to achieve 10? And I think you work on that number. And let's say it's 1,000 in total, because, you know, only 10% of them are going to be qualified, gets them down to 100, and then only 10% are going to buy. You can change the percentages, but work on that. And from that model, say, okay, now where are those right clients based on the industry, geographic, demographic, psychographic profile of your ideal client, which, by the way, people in this room struggle with defining, or we've had people present who have trouble defining their ideal client. And it's really, really important for you to do that. Recognizing you're trying to end with 10 at X dollars per year, whatever that is.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
One framework that I think is helpful when looking at messaging, to sort of summarize a lot of the comments, there's functional activities that you do, which is important to clarify what those are. There's value add activities where you're creating value for clients and it's above and beyond the functional. Then there's the emotional message or value. So for business owners who can't focus, feel overwhelmed, can't remember the last time they delegated, feel stuck working in the business, not on the business, those are more emotional messages where you can paint the picture of how you help. Norris mentioned earlier, like, go to the golf course. But I think a really important one would be spend more time with your family, right? Delegate the things that a CEO or founder doesn't have to be the one to do it. So I think helping business owners from a confidentiality standpoint, from a thought partner, because I think with your business expertise, you also can add strategic insights. Those might be some additional messages to consider adding in. And I think that builds on Rutenberg's point about having personas. Who are these entrepreneurs? What are their pain points in each of those lenses? One might be, and you've mentioned that I think you're already doing this, helping companies rewrite their government RFPs to remove any mention of inclusion so that they don't get automatically kicked out. That's a very specific differentiator, but one that has huge upside. Melinda.
Hold on, I'm typing what you were saying. I wrote down partnerships. There are a lot of different types of companies that would make good partners with you, where you can work very closely with them. And maybe even putting together a board or something with companies with similar interests and things that you guys can all discuss how you can help each other and build upon all the similar types of businesses that you guys have, and figure out a way where you're almost like a co-op where you guys work together and your clients can realize that when they're working with you, they may have access to somebody else that may be able to solve some of the other issues.
Yeah. And we are starting to do that. So thank you. Excellent suggestion.
James.
I don't know if this question was asked and I may have missed it, but for you and your business, Deborah, have you actually came up with what the end game looks like for your company? Like, have you figured that out yet? Like, you know, it's going to be $1 million. There's going to be 8 people. It's going to be this. It's going to be this. It's going to, like, have you got to that point where you've actually managed to create that painted picture of what your life and business is going to be like?
Yes, we're 80% there.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right, because at the end of the day, I mean, there's a lot of good advice coming out, but at the end of the day, it's you just reverse engineer, right? It's like, what's going to get me there, right? So, all right, 80% is good because most people are not even at 10. So, awesome. Okay, just clarify.
Oh, thank you.
James, can I follow up with a clarifying question on your comment just now?
You can, for sure.
Does that also include succession planning, exit planning? Like, tell me a little bit more where you were going with that.
Asking me? Or
Yes, James.
It does include
Okay.
succession planning and exit planning, absolutely.
Okay.
It's a conversation that I've had with my daughter on multiple occasions. She's not quite accepting it yet, but at some point in time, I am going to, start to take a step back, I would say over the next 2 to 3 years, and have the ability to be able to focus more on frankly, my husband, who asks me every year, "You're going to retire?" And I'm like, "I really am. Yeah, that's going to happen here." All that thought, it's coming on. So yes. And there's also the emotional piece
Yeah.
of, you want to make sure that, I want to make sure my daughter is going to be successful and that she's going to be able to take it forward. For two reasons. I want her to be successful and I want to create residual income.
Obviously,
Phenomenal.
the reason I ask this should be obvious, but whenever we do that, Deborah, it doesn't matter what the business is. Whatever you end up with in terms of that, what we call your painted picture, there's generally only a handful of models that's going to get you there. And the idea is to figure out what those models kind of look like and which are the ones that are best going to suit you for how you want to run your business.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I think if you're 80% there, you're including succession planning as well. I mean, kudos to you. I mean, that's a huge step for sure. So, yeah.
Thank you. I didn't put that little thumbs up. Oh, maybe it's because my thumb was up.
Zoom is anxious to help you be expressive. I don't think we asked this earlier, but how many people work on your bigger team, Deborah? Because it's not just you and your daughter. You have a big team of people too.
Right now we have 8 assistants.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. I think we're getting ready to have the slides back up on the screen. Deborah, fantastic job. Great Q&A from our audience. Thank you for being here and asking questions and suggestions. We really appreciate you.
Everyone.
The next question we'll ask is how we can help you, but I'm going to hand it over to James to keep us moving forward.
Thank you. Yes, so that is the next question is how else can the 1 Million Cups community help you today?
You have. I mean, you've given me outstanding suggestions. Now it's my job to kind of filter through those and implement those. I look forward to the opportunity to come back and discuss with everyone.
Oh, you muted yourself. Something happened.
Did you hear everything I said or just part of it?
Part of it.
Okay, and I just said I look forward to coming back and letting you know how I've implemented those suggestions and how they've worked.
Awesome. Look forward to it, Deborah. Thank you so much. Maria, next slide, please. So next week's presenter, Jane Graydon, will be talking about her massage and wellness business. So make sure you register, come and appear for that and support Jen as she presents to us next week. Next slide, please. Oh, wow. Okay, so we have a list of upcoming events. Can we copy and paste them into the chat, please? We've created the links. Are you speaking tomorrow, Jen, at BNI, or is that just a thing?
I am happy to invite anyone as my guest. I spoke actually last week.
Oh, sorry, we missed that.
I know, that's all right. But yes, every Thursday it is virtual. So if anybody wants just to be more visible, grow their network, happy to have you as my guest.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So the links for Central Fairfax and Reston Chamber will be in the chat if you want to go check out their events, upcoming events. Next slide, please. And we have our presenter schedule going forward. So just heard from the lovely Deborah Lansdowne. Next week, as I said, Jen Graydon doing a massage and wellness. May 28th is filled. That's a virtual translating your brand into effective marketing. This is actually a town hall. That'll be getting led by Melinda on our organizing team. June 4th is a hybrid, June 11th, virtual, and then June 18th is another town hall. So we have a couple of slots available for anyone who may want to come and present their business to us. You've seen it's pretty low key, so nothing to get nervous about. But if you want to come and present, please do so. Contact one of the organizers. Next slide, please, Maria. Now, as always, we like to spread the good word. So you can follow us on social media. You can click or scan, where did I get that from? Scan the QR code. And you'll be able to go and share everything on the Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. I refuse to call it X. You can share it all in one place. Thanks so much. Next slide, please. And that is it. So thanks again, Deborah. That was amazing. Hopefully you're going to walk away with a lot of good information and stuff to do. And we look forward to you coming back and sharing what you've actually done. So I will stop the recording.